disrupting your life and beginning to look at the disruptions in your life and what do we do with that? How do we handle that? And I'm reminded of the words of James Weldon Johnson. And I want some of you who are not familiar with, I want you to listen to the words. Stony the road we trod, bitter the chastening rod. When hope unborn had died, yet with a steady beat have not our weary feet come to the place for which our fathers sighed. We've come over a way that with tears have been watered. We've come treading a path through the blood of the slaughtered. Everything that we experience, everything that we now are taking advantage of, somebody paid a price for it. And one of the most important things that we have to do on an ongoing basis, and I want you to write this down and to honor this moving forward after hearing all the speakers and after this experience, upgrade yourself. I was looking at my computer and asked, are you ready for an update? You want it now or later? And I push now. Usually I say later because it usually takes time. And we really should update our knowledge on a regular basis, update our vision of ourselves on a regular basis, upgrade the vision and the goals and the dreams that we have on a regular basis. Why is that? What's the purpose of updating? Because where you are right now, that level of impact and that place where you are right now and the skill set that got you there, that has expired. And you got to update your skills, your knowledge. That's why Einstein said the thinking that has brought me this far has created some problems that this thinking can't solve. One of the most important things that you're doing, and I congratulate all of you that have been listening and watching, that we are made in the likeness and image of God. Think about that. We're made in the likeness and image of God and been given authority and dominion over everything. Notice, didn't say some things, over everything on the face of the earth. Think about that. Then why is it that most of us die unlived lives? Why is it that Dr. Miles Monroe for years said, rob the cemetery of your gifts and of your talents and of your abilities and of your skills and your leadership and your book and your music and the impact of your life? Why do you say that? Why do we have to say that over and over and over again? Because we have been programmed and are being programmed every day. And so we have to every day stop, check ourselves, and update and upgrade our vision of ourselves, our knowledge, and write this down, our skill set. That not only because of things we have gone through, but things that we are dealing with right now. The goalpost has been pushed back, and there are things that are taking place right now politically to oppress, to deny, to exclude our participation. There's a different space. And here's the success of what's going on right now and why you're watching me and why your voice and your story and your knowledge is so important. We have been programmed to be spectators, to be fans. You look at the number of people that watch a summit and listen to speakers sharing their story and their experiences and how they got through and how they got over and how they got to the other side. Look at the number of eyeballs, the number of people who view those. And then you look at the number of people who view old basketball games, boxing matches, football, various acts of foolishness on the internet. The numbers are just minuscule based upon what you're watching right now. And I want you to know, you're different. The fact that you're watching me, the fact that you listen to the speakers, you are different. The average person not watching this, They're looking at stuff. Who's the GOAT? And we're going to share, we've been sharing with you how to become the greatest of all times in your own life. Most people in their own lives, they are rookies. They're living a life of mediocrity. Our goal is to help you to begin to not die with your music still in you, as Shakespeare would say. It's about the music. It's about the fire. It's about your mindset of living your life on your terms. Most people aren't doing that because we have been programmed to be fans, to be spectators. And so what happens is that you can get so busy and consuming, and I had to look at myself. I said, wait a minute, what am I supposed to be doing right now? My life has changed. You used to think people in their 40s were old. Now, I'm 77. I'm old as Methuselah. Come on, now. So who does 77? Are you kidding me? Let me tell you something. I get up real early. Before I get started, I get my little mascara out, and I start covering the gray hair. I don't believe in gray hair. No, homie, don't be playing that, honey. I'll be covering up. Why? My kids say, Daddy, you would look so distinguished with your gray hair. I'm not trying to look distinguished. Hello? I'm trying to look young. Just because I'm 77 don't mean I have to look 77. I don't have to. How many of you agree that I don't have to look like I got one foot on a banana peeling and the other one in the graveyard? If you can feel a brother up in here, just put some fire in the comment section so I can see it. Or say yes, yes, yes. Say yes 3 times. I ain't playing with you. I'm coming for you this afternoon. I'm coming for you. Did you hear me? So we got to get a checkup from the neck up. Because stuff's living at a time where we have instruments, algorithms that know more about us than we know about ourselves. But it's not just the knowing that's dangerous, but the manipulation that's dangerous. I saw something about how to reduce inflammation in your body. I'm a 4th stage cancer conqueror. So I said, let me see what that is. And sure enough, it was an infomercial. It was a commercial about a product, all right? Do you know, I timed it. I got numerous commercials coming on my phone, on my computer, about how to reduce inflammation in your body with herbs, with food, with exercise, with a variety of things. How is that possible? Because they're listening to us. Write this down. Behavior marketing. They're watching our choices. Do you mind if we follow where you go? When you go to another website looking for something, they have a database and they can distinguish that and pull that stuff out and start marketing and pushing products to you and giving it to advertisers, giving it to corporations. Here's what Les is interested in. He just put something in dealing with his inflammation. And we're going to start marketing to him about that. He also just put something that he wants a 6-pack. He says he only has 1 pack covering up 5 packs. Do we have something for him? Yes, I got something for him. Good. All right. Here's his email. Come on. If this is automated, this is not driven by human beings. This is automated. They're making money off us while they sleep. And while you're looking at this, it's very important. What you tune into, you turn into. The reason that most people are fans and watching, who's the GOAT? Is it LeBron or is it Michael Jordan? Who's the GOAT? Couldn't even afford tickets to the game. Come on. All right, come on. The GOAT. Woo, isn't that just cute? Isn't that? Come on. We're talking about looking at our lives and checking ourselves, because sometimes you can confuse being busy with being productive and being profitable. But here's something else. And I think it happens to you after 40. Here's something else. Time picks up speed after 40. I'm telling you what I know. I'm 77. I'm telling you, once you get 40, You don't get 30 days out of the month. You might get 2 weeks if you are lucky. And listen to me right now. Listen to me. If you got some big bills, guess what? You now don't get 14 days. All right. Now you get about 8. So wait a minute. Did I just pay that bill yesterday? Come on. I mean, life has shifted. It has picked up speed. And so in order to navigate this, in order to live a life of love, of mind, of harmonious relationships, an achievement-driven, heart-centered life, you have to check yourself, update your knowledge and your skill set. And here's something else that's major. You have to look at your relationships. I want you to say to yourself every day, why? Every day. Can I just say it one time? No. McDonald's we know where they are. And every day there's a commercial. Why? They program us to go get their products. They program us to create a thirst. Write this down. The thirst. By saying what I'm going to share with you, it will create a thirst and a hunger to make it happen. It will activate something that's called the reticular activating system. It was designed to help us to begin to identify the things that we want and how to achieve them. They created a missile that was designed, and I want you to follow me on this. It's been a minute since I talked about this. They created a military device that was designed after the human mind. It was called the teleological missile. The teleological missile, once it got a target in sight, the teleological missile, when it was released, if the target went to the right, the teleological missile, this smart missile, would go to the right. This is technology that has never been done before. If the target goes to the left, the teleological missile would go to the left. Keep in mind, it's designed after the human mind. Listen to me closely. The teleological missile, once it gets a target in sight that it is supposed to hit, when it's released, and if the target vanishes, the self mechanism in the teleological missile will trigger it to self-destruct. Whoa, whoa, did you hear me? It's designed after the human mind. We are here for a reason. When someone can destroy your identity, how you see yourself, which takes away the purpose and the meaning of your life and the direction of your life, hello, I'll wait. As Dr. Della Tiro would say, yeah, when you see people, see, life is for living, and you're an energy source, and that energy is going to be used. It will be used destructively or productively. A friend of mine, he was telling me about his mother who was on drugs for years, and he got her to go into a drug program. And when she got out, after a short time, she went back on drugs again. He said, why would you go to a drug program to get off these drugs and now you back on them again? She said, wait a minute. Don't jump on me about this. This is my life. I only went into that drug program to stop y'all from getting on my last nerve, aggravating me and nagging me that I need to go get some help. I didn't want to go, but I decided to do it because I was tired of y'all. Y'all thought I should do it. I think my life is fine, and I'm doing what I want to do. Hello. As my twin brother Wesley would say. See, people who engage in self-destructive behavior, one, they have a negative image of themselves. People that are listening, you that are listening to me now, each person, every speaker that you hear, the words that they speak, remember, what you tune into, you turn into, is designed to enhance, to empower, to expand your vision of yourself beyond your mental conditioning, beyond your circumstances, beyond the adversities that you have been or are experiencing. Thou shalt decree a thing and it shall be established unto you. So I want you to write this down. The rest of my life will be the best of my life. I want you to write that down and say, I say it every day. The rest of my life, when I first get up in the morning, oh, thank you, Lord, for a brand new day. All things work together for good for those who love God. Don't mean that every day would be a good day, but there's some good in every day. And the rest of my life will be the best of my life. If you agree with that, if you feel that, if you want to declare that for yourself, he said, thou shalt decree a thing and it shall be established unto you. Come on, somebody. You want to be an advertising agent for yourself. You are the GOAT in your life. And you don't want to be a mediocre player in your life. You don't want to be a spectator and a fan in your life. You don't want to be seated in the bleachers in your life. You want to make actively in the mindset of Abraham Lincoln. He said the future belonged to those who create it. You want to create it. I'm so fired up, my nose running. I can't believe this. Hey, come on now. Of all the times, this is so embarrassing. I'm turning red, but y'all can't see it. Oh, Tyrone, you got to help me out. I was talking to Tyrone. We're doing the wedding rehearsal. Tyrone is my squirrel friend. And so I was just fitting him for his tuxedo. And he met Trina, his fiance Trina, and so we were doing a rehearsal because I'm doing the officiations for it. So this is Trina. Y'all haven't seen Trina, but she gorgeous, honey. Miss Trina, come on, baby, don't be shy. So this wedding, we're orchestrating this. When you've been locked up too long, you start talking to squirrels and conducting marriage ceremonies. You can't make this stuff up. Who marries squirrels? Okay, here's something else. You look at your life, write this down, realign yourself. Realign yourself. That's what people don't need to be in your life. I can't believe this. Of all the time. For my mustache to be messing up. Oh. Is it gone? Who does this? You are crazy. I know. Realign yourself. Get some friends who love squirrels. That would be me. See, there's some people you need to get out of your life. Why? Because they will compromise your energy and your power. And when they take away your power and your vision of yourself, you will unconsciously, getting on this path, having nothing to aim for, engage in self-destructive behavior. It might be alcohol. It might be procrastination. It might be surrendering to fear. It might just be not doing the things that you need to do. It might be causing you to lose your focus. This is a time that you want to keep the main thing the main thing. This is a time that you want to be persistent. This is a time that you have to be determined. I was talking to a man who lost his only son, and he said he went in a room and found his son dead in bed from an overdose. He said he fell down on his knees and screamed out to God. And at that point, he didn't want to live. His only son gone. And he heard my voice. If life knocks you down, try and land on your back, because if you can look up, you can get up. And he rolled on his back and he got up. Another gentleman, he was going through a tough time, had suicidal thoughts. And as a result of what he had gone through a divorce, lost his job, went through foreclosure. Seemed like his life had been turned upside down. But that wasn't enough. He lost someone that was very close to him who passed. And he heard my voice. Listen to this. Somebody saw him at an event. 3 weeks later, entertainment. They have these white parties where people dress in white and go out and they dance. They travel around the world to meet other people who dress in white and dance. And somebody asked, I didn't expect you to see you here. What are you doing here? He said, Les Brown said, you will get through this. As I was in the arms of grief and feeling sorry for myself and being depressed, he said, sooner or later, you're going to get past this pain. And he said, I decided to make it sooner. Come on, somebody. Don't you make me get up and dance for you. Don't you come. I decided to make it sooner. Come on, bust a move. Mm-hmm. Yes, come on. Sooner or later, you will get through this. I decided to make it sooner. Write this down. We make decisions, and our decisions create our reality. That created a shift for him. The shift from grief to living life now. All of us sometimes need a word to shift our thinking, need a word to remind us that we have greatness in us. We have abilities and talents and dreams. We have some good stuff in us that God placed there. All of us have been chosen. If you weren't here now, there would be a missing piece to the puzzle of who is required to help make this world a better place. That's why Horace Mann said we should be ashamed to die until we've made some major contribution to humankind. If you agree with that, I want you to put some fire in the comment section. If you agree with that we're here to live a life of meaning, of purpose. We're here to live a life of impact. I'm calling a cousin that I did not know I had, and have her take me to go see the grave site of my birth father that I have never seen. I've seen the birth site of my grandmother, Beulah Rucker, and to Dorothy Bell Rucker, my birth mother. And because I now realize they had to do what they had to do. Had they not taken themselves down to Miami to give birth to me and my brother and give us to Mamie Brown, I wouldn't be the person that I am today. I'm a different person if I'd been raised in Gainesville, Georgia. Nothing wrong with Gainesville, Georgia. But because of the impact, the influence, the example, the love, the sacrifice of Mamie Brown, she took care of us like she gave birth to us. That inspired me. That brought something out of me. she adopted altogether 7 children. I was among the 7. And I heard this guy, Ed Milet, said, usually in families, there's one who will show a level of gratitude. There's one who, even though born in the same situation, under the same roof, they are raised, ate from the same table. But there is one who will be dramatically different. There's one who has an expanded vision of themselves. And even if you are only a child, you are the one. I can't tell you, only child, spoiled brats that I've known over the years that had everything, and didn't appreciate it. Had a mindset of entitlement. I had one of my daughters check me. I'm not going to say her name, but there. And I was telling her some stuff I wanted her to do for me, and she didn't do it. I said, hey, what's up with that? She said, you act like your children owe you something. At first, my feelings were hurt. But then I thought, my children don't owe me nothing. They didn't ask to be born. No, they don't owe me nothing. And so that was a wake-up call. You better take care of yourself. Young man, I don't call myself an old man, young man. Yeah. And hold yourself to a higher standard. Don't be like the other people in your age category, acting like they're winding down. People say, at this stage of your life, you're older now. I said, no, you get older when you stop working, when you stop contributing, when you stop being an active force in life, when you allow the disruptions in your life to allow you to feel like you are old. No, I'm still growing. Age is not determined by the number of Earth days that you have. It's determined, are you still relevant? Are you still making things happen? Are you still participating in life? Are you still engaged? The reason that you're watching me now is there's something in your heart that says, I am not going to die an unlived life. No. And if there's something that someone says at this summit, I know I got some music in me. I know I got some good stuff in me. If there's something said by these speakers, by these coaches, by these trainers, if something is said that's God guided, that will inspire me to get out of my history and live out of my imagination. He said, I'll give you all your eyes can see, and I'm going to listen. I'm going to be present. Present. I'm ready. I'm taking notes up in here. Oh, my time has run out. So I want to say you have something special. You have greatness in you.
How would you respond when someone's back is up against the wall, they're facing failure time and time again? Let me just share a little quick story. Years ago, I worked with Tony Robbins. In 1999, I was working with Tony Robbins. I thought, model one of the best. It was either you, Stephen Covey, or it was Tony Robbins. And at the time, Mike, I had a little connection into Tony Robbins. So I went with Tony Robbins.
Yes.
And I got so pumped after a year of working there, I gave over 240 presentations. What a great training opportunity as I traveled the country and just was able to present so many times. And finally, he said on stage, talking about living your dreams, he said, when would now be a good time? He told the 5,000 people audience. And I remember I nudged my wife and I said, that's my calling, man. I'm making an excuse for myself. It's time for me to go live my dream. Anyway, long story short, I left the Tony Robbins organization. I called my parents. I said, Mom, Dad, can we and the kids stay at your home for just a couple months as I do my first seminar? Our home was actually rented out at the time because we were traveling so much, so I couldn't go there. And Mom and Dad said, absolutely. Well, those 2 months turned into 5 years in the basement of their house. And I thought, oh my gosh. And in my darkest moment, my wife says, you should go get a job. I said, but I hear Les Brown in me, right? My calling is to do this. There's gotta be a way. I can't just give up on the 10-yard line or whatever. And she said, well, what are you gonna do? And I said, honey, I'm gonna go write a book. And she said, you're gonna do what? Have you even read a book? Anyway, I said, I'm gonna go write a book. And we had a car repossessed, so we ended up with one card. And I decided I can't write where the kids are, so I drove down to the grocery store parking lot and I started to type. And 2 months later, If You Think You Can was written. And I'm telling you, it was published about 3 months later. And from then, my world in 2005 turned overnight. That book became an international bestseller back in 2005. And we just came out with the 15th version. It's coming out next week. And so it's just unbelievable. As I have always told audiences, believe in yourself, believe in your dreams, figure out the right strategy, but never give up. I don't know, how do you counsel people to respond to those kinds of challenges without giving up?
Well, first of all, we always have a choice. There's something in us, TJ, as you know, that's greater than anything that we face, even though we have no evidence to point to prove it. Like as I'm speaking to you now,
That's right.
I had to prepare myself mentally because I'm in pain as I speak to you. Cancer has eaten 40% of my T1 vertebrae and metastasized to the T2, to T3, and to the C7. And I just spoke to an audience this morning, and I said, a doctor looked at me and he said 3 words that no one ever wants to hear. He said, you have cancer. And the audience got quiet. And I said, sir, can you give me a second opinion? He said, yes. And you're ugly too.
That's good.
I said, no, he didn't. I said, I got issues. Here's the thing. Life is a fight for territory. And once you stop fighting for what you want, what you don't want will automatically take over. So I could have said, and even now I could say, this pain is just too great. But my affirmation to myself, whenever I'm going through a tough time, and I'm a 27-year cancer conqueror, no matter how bad it is or how bad it gets, I'm going to make it. And I think that people who make it through the storms of life, and we're always going to have storms. Forrest Gump said life is like a box of chocolates. You never know what you're going to get. My book of life says that think it not strange that you will face the fiery furnaces of this world. You will, not you might, you will have tribulations. It's called life. And so what's key is to visualize and see yourself on the other side and hold that vision. He said, I'll give you all your eyes can see. Hold that vision and say to yourself, wow, that came out great. I made it through. I learned some things. Every day for 27 years, I've been saying, I thank God I'm cancer free. And people say, wait a minute, you've been saying that for 27 years. I mean, obviously it's not going to happen. I said, no, that's not true. Number one, I'm still here. Og Mandino say, persist until you succeed. Well, just think, 27 years. Look, when will a baby walk? It will walk when it walks. When will it talk? It will talk when it talks, and some talk sooner than others. And so many times we give up out of frustration and lack of patience. And to me, the people that make it through have a series of perseverance, persistence, and patience. And they show up with that every day until they get the desired results that they want. I know, I don't believe, I know that I'm going to be free of cancer, that this is not unto death. There's something that I have to align myself with because cancer cells gone crazy. And so as I'm working on myself and working on the goals and dreams and other areas of my life that I have not resolved yet, that I'm just persistent and I'll keep coming back again and again and again. And as I told my children, even a broke clock is right twice a day. At some point in time, a brother's going to break through.
That is so awesome. Despite the cancer challenge, if you call it a challenge or not, you're still out.
Because you get to know things about yourself that you don't know.
Yeah, right.
That it introduces you to a part of yourself that you're not familiar with. That it helps you to begin to prioritize things and determine what's important, what's not important. There are things that I would get angry about that I just let pass. For instance, I was coming down the sidewalk yesterday when I arrived here in New Jersey, in Philadelphia, and a guy had his luggage on the sidewalk, and he saw me coming. All he had to do was just pull his luggage back so that I can come by. He refused to move it. He's standing there with his wife. And so, which meant that I had to move my luggage and carry it into the streets and then get back on the sidewalk. And so he said, "Good, I'm glad you did that." And I said, "Thank you." And I got into the car that was waiting for me, and I said to my friend, I said, "You know what? There was a time that I'd have whooped his ass." You know, I wanted to look at him, and one time I'd have said, "You about to make me lose my mind. Up in here, up in here." I took my stuff on the sidewalk, and that wasn't enough. You wanted to taunt me. You wanted to tease me. You want to act like you punked me out. And I said, but at 74, no, because every emotion, I mean, I laugh a lot. Why? 1 minute of laughter boosts your immune system for over 24 hours. Think about that. 1 minute of laughter boosts your immune system for over 24 hours. So people who are watching us now, after we get through, they will get sick for 20 years. 1 minute of anger weakens your immune system for 4 to 5 hours. Yeah. So I deliberately don't get angry. I choose not. Anger is a wind that blows out the lamp of the mind. I study psychoneuroimmunology. I know that the thoughts that we have, they create gene expressions. I know it creates a certain type of chemistry in our body that's toxic. And so I can't afford, as a cancer conqueror, to get angry. I choose not to go there. And we always have a choice. And I believe that the type of program that you have, it gives people the mental and emotional and psychological and spiritual muscle to have a clarity of mind to stand back and say, you know what? I'm not going to go there. I'm not going to let this get to me. I'm better than this, and rise above it and move on with their lives.
Wow, that's powerful. Thank you for sharing all that. You said, you put a little nugget in there I like, which I want to draw attention to, which you just said some people give up on their goals because they lack patience. And that made me think of the law of the harvest, which has 3 laws, right? You reap what you sow.
Yes.
Increased returns. You get more than you sow, right? And then the third thing is delayed gratifications. And so sometimes we give up on our goals because we haven't given time for those seeds to nourish and bear fruit, right? We give up a little bit too early. And anyway, any thoughts on that?
Yes, well, there are some things that you're pursuing. I see that we grow from people and from projects. I'll be a better person at the end of this program because of our communication. We grow from people and projects. And so when we have projects, they challenge us. Why? Because we always, if we want to grow into a serious, choose projects that's beyond our comfort zone. Because in order to do something you've never done, you've got to become someone you've never been.
That's good.
And so there are experiences that you're going to have in the process. Some things will happen to you, and some things will happen for you. And so I believe that those things that happen for us that sometimes we're aware of, but most of the time we're not. That's what psychologists call your scotomas, your blind spots.
Right.
That a lady, she's an intuitive, and she wrote me a note when she found out that I was a 27-year cancer conqueror, and she says, "This is not unto death to you." She said, "Search your heart and find out what's there." And she was one of the people that gave me a book years ago that I read called Who's the Matter with Me? And when I realized, TJ, and this is the first time I ever talked about this publicly, that somewhere in me that I had not consciously recognized that I had anger at my birth mother. and father. How can you bring someone in this world who didn't choose to be here and walk away? And even though we are told, forgetting those things which are behind, reaching forth unto those things which are before, I woke up in the middle of the night, and sometimes you can get a message from a movie.
Right.
And a movie with Tom Cruise, it's called Magnolia. And I never saw the whole movie, but there was a quote that woke me up around 3:15, I never forget. And the quote was, "We might be through with our past, but our past is not through with us." And so I have unresolved stuff in me because for a period of time, I saw myself as have been given away. But there's been a shift in my consciousness. Now I look at my life and I realize I was chosen with love, that God took me out of my biological mother's womb and placed me in the heart of my adopted mother. And that's why I know, now that I've come to grips with, now that I had to get some help, that I believe, ask for help, not because you're weak, but because you want to remain strong. Yes. And ask for help and don't stop until you get it. And I said, you said this is not unto death for me. Search my heart. And I said, can you help me go there? And she did, because sometimes somebody can take you to a place within yourself that you can't go by yourself. And in that session, I realized the anger and the hatred that I had for two people that I don't even have faces for. I've never seen my birth mother, my birth father. And so I had to resolve that. I had to forgive myself first and then forgive them. And that's when the healing takes place, because cancer, a cell's gone crazy. Yeah. And so now as I move to a place of love, God is love, and he who dwelleth in love dwelleth in God, and God in them. As I move to a place of love for them, that now I'm in harmony and in integrity with who I am as a person. And I have forgiven myself, I've forgiven them, and I'm living this mission of making the world a better place than how I found it, of being a source of light and hope and inspiration for people.
And you're doing an awesome job. There is no long-term benefit for being a grudge holder, holding resentment toward people. I always tell people say, well, do things bug you? Well, things bug me. But listen, yeah. I don't live there. And I always tell people, I let things roll off my back. You can criticize me all day long. And you know what? I'm not going to internalize that.
Yes.
Right? Because I know who I am and I'm thankful for who I am. Anyway.
Yes. And that is real, because the stuff we take on is, they said, hating someone is like drinking poison and say, okay, now you're going to die. No, it's not going to happen like that. Yes, no. We all need coaching on how to let some things go. One of the things that I teach is let go or be dragged. That there are certain things that you know that you need to let go of. Otherwise, it's going to compromise your power and it's going to drag you down. And it takes time to do that.
It does. It does. So in your book, I remember this story.
Yes.
Such a great book. Anyway, you walked in, I think it was to a junior high or an elementary school, and you said, there's greatness in this room. If you're here, would you please stand?
Yes.
And you had to say it over and over. And then one young person, didn't they stand up and they said, here I am.
Here I am. And that young man, I'm working with him today.
Oh, you're kidding.
No, he's been with me since that time. He is an attorney, and he also worked with youth. We go to prisons and juvenile detention centers together. Yes, and he's truly manifesting his greatness. And I'm proud to say I'm one of his mentees, because it's a seesaw relationship. At first, I started out being his mentor, but he has incredible skills with the millennials and with technology that I don't have. Oh. And so he's teaching me how to connect with them and how to use technology to further the work that I have, that I'm doing, and to create non-performance income. So this thing called life, I believe that you're never too old to learn and you're never too young to teach. And he's teaching me, and I'm proud of it.
That's awesome.
What kept you hungry for more, as if not settling? Like,
I am so glad you asked me this question, because I'm working with a brother named Odell, who's very, very talented brother, helping people to get into the speaking business. And he invited me as a guest. And I asked them, I said, I wanted you to listen to me. I want to ask you, why do you want to speak? Nietzsche said, if you know the why for living, you can almost endure almost anyhow. I wanted to be able to take care of my mother. I promised my mother. Here I am. I'm one of 7 children that she took out of foster care, and she adopted us. And I said, Mama, what is it, Leslie? When I become a man, I'm going to take care of you. You won't ever go to a nursing home. She used to work in a nursing home, and she always said she never wanted to go to a nursing home. I was elected to the Ohio legislature, and my sister called me and said, Leslie, are you sitting down? And I asked, what's wrong with Mama? She said, Mama's got breast cancer. I said, I'll be right there. She said, you can't. I said, what do you mean? You just got reelected to the Ohio legislature. You're the chairman of the education committee. And they're grooming you to run for statewide office. I said, I enjoy politics, but I love Mama. Leslie, they got nice nursing homes here. I said, listen to me. So I had a problem. How can one woman raise 7 children that she didn't give birth to, and 7 grown people can't take care of one woman? I said, I'll be there.
Wow.
And so I resigned from the Ohio legislature. I went back to Miami. I'll never forget, a friend of hers named Miss Mildred was there. And I rang the doorbell, and she came to the door, and she said, oh my God, Leslie. I said, yes, ma'am. And I heard my mother ask in the background, Mildred, who's that? And she said, it's Leslie. And I heard my mother say, I knew he would come. I knew he would come. And so I'm saying to people who say they want to speak, have a reason. Whatever goal you have want to have your own business, you want to do something major with your life, have something that you can anchor yourself on that gives your life a sense of purpose and meaning. In the German concentration camps in Auschwitz, and Viktor Frankl book called Man's Search for Meaning, he said the Jews that were able to survive the inexpressible cruelties of Nazism, they either had some loved one that they were determined to see, or some spiritual development that they anchored themselves into, or some cause that they believed in, that it would not break their spirit. And so when I went on this
trip, he was walking in that snow for a long time.
Yeah, man.
He was different.
Yes. And so people who have purpose, they're different. If you don't have purpose, something
that's
to anchor
another level
yourself
of purpose,
to.
though.
Absolutely.
What they was going through.
We went through.
Yeah.
You think about what James Weldon Johnson said, stony the road we trod, bitter the chesting rod, fell in the days when hope unborn had died. Yet with a steady beat have not our weary feet come to the place for which our fathers sighed. We have come over a way that with tears have been watered. We've come treading a path through the blood of the slaughtered. We went through the worst form of man's inhumanity to man in the world. No one had ever gone through that. Auschwitz, that can't even compare to what has been done to us, and they're trying to revisit that place again. And so, but we are the descendants of the ones that would not die.
Wow.
And so there is something in us, there's something in you and I, the irreducible essence of who we are, that no matter what life throws at us, that we will rise, as Maya Angelou would say.
Wow. I mean, right now, what are you doing now? Are you still reading? Are you still?
Yes, I read 30 to 40 pages a day,
wow. What
every
you tapping
day.
Into right now?
What I'm reading now and revisiting
and give me your top 3 all-time favorite books.
The Road to Your Best Stuff by Mike Williams. Okay. I wrote the foreword for that because he saw me. He took this guy who never knew his father, and it was a 2 years difference between us, but he was like a father to me, and he helped me to make some good decisions. There were periods in my life I was temporarily insane. Okay, let's round the bat about town. Look out, baby, I'm your love man. So he found me, and he helped to groom me, okay, and get the crazy out. And so, but the other book that I love very much It's called As a Man Thinketh.
So what's it? James Allen, right?
James Allen,
Yeah.
yes. And they have a version As a Woman Thinketh. And another book that I enjoy is The Miseducation of the Negro by Dr. Carter G. Woodson, because we have been miseducated. If you look at what's going on now, when you have people actively working to take our history out of the books, why? When you have a strong sense of identity, that gives your life a sense of purpose. And when your life has a sense of purpose, that gives your life a sense of direction. So we have been groomed to be spectators, to consume entertainment, as opposed to consuming information and educating ourselves in this era of accelerated change, overwhelming complexity, and tremendous competition. It's a new place. And so we have to do what you're doing, and your partners and people who've been watching you, is make artificial intelligence our ally. We were created by the Creator to create. And so there's a part of us that this place demands that we step up and step away from the behaviors that does not represent the greatness that is within us.
That's good.
And challenge us to dig within to bring out the next greatest version of ourselves. You think about Lion King, Simba, you are more than that which you have become. And this is what your program is about. You are more than that which you have become. Are you talking about me and I can't even find a job, but I just got out of jail? Yeah, you got greatness in you. And so as we bring that mantra over and over again and deliver it to people in a way that they can hear it at all levels, we are able to change the culture. Cultures are treated by people and they can be changed by people. When you look at the killings that are taking place in Atlanta and around the country, that it represents the collective thinking of people. And there's an African proverb that says, if there's no enemy within, the enemy outside can do us no harm. So we've been groomed for discard, to hate ourselves. And so when you have something that says you have greatness in you, it causes you to ask yourself, am I in alignment with what I'm hearing? And what is it I need to do? And if a man is to gain his life, he must lose his life. We got to die to who we have been to give birth to who we are to become. You will get to see a future that I won't get to see. But the things that I'm learning and doing, you're going to take it to a whole new level. And those who are watching now, because of the fact that I'm here because of Miles Monroe, I'm here because of Dr. Benjamin Mays, I'm here because of Malcolm X and Dr. King. And so we're standing on shoulders of giants, and Dr. Andrew Young. And so as we're moving forward in the future, this communication with us, this is major.
Yeah. I was just actually a guest. I went to the mayor's event, and I was a guest of Dr. Andrew Young, one of my friends. That's how I got in through them, so it was pretty cool.
Yes.
I met him and his wife. So
yes, wonderful couple. I saw them at the event recently with our very good friend John Hope Bryant.
yeah, he's a good guy, man.
Yes, he is. Yes, he's done a lot.
He's no nonsense.
Absolutely. And I just love the standards that he has and how he's held himself to a higher standard. And to hear a brother like you who can hold a conversation. And I train kids. I'm going to be doing a training with some kids
That's good.
this summer. And I teach them that profanity is the strongest expression of a weak mind.
Wow, that's good.
When you hear so many of these athletes, our kids are watching them. They're heroes, and they just use profanity one after the other, the females as well as the guys. And words matter. In the beginning was the Word, and the Word was God. Thou shalt decree a thing that shall be established unto you. And so your languaging style, it affects people. It creates a certain kind of mindset and says a lot about how you see yourself.